This is a very thirsty lizard who just had the first rain for many weeks, and I think he is licking the water from the rain from the roof. This is a Tokai gecko. The scientific name, I believe, is a gecko. There are 2 or 3 of these living under my veranda in the roof. Looks like he's cleaning his eyes. And he's still thirsty. And these are usually active at night time. You don't usually see them running around in the day, so that's quite unusual. And there he is on my roof. So here's a close-up photo of a Tokai gecko. It was just outside my house. I don't know if it's the same one that was drinking the rainwater or not, but I was quite surprised at the colour, how light it is. Usually they are a much more darker, sort of bluish, brownish, mottled colour. So I thought perhaps it had molted, but I learned that they can actually change their colour to match their surroundings, somewhat like a chameleon. That was quite interesting. So I've never seen one that lights before. I'm not sure if you can see here, but there is a termite nest, I think, and the whole stream of termites is coming out after we've had the first rain for a long time, the last couple of days, and the mud is soft enough that they can eat their way out. So you can see there's a lot of termites just flying out. They're also called flying ants. So you'll see them just streaming out of the nest, and you can actually see around where they're coming out, there's a whole swarm of birds that are having a feeding frenzy, eating the termites when they are flying out of the nest. And I believe that's what the frogs were eating when I filmed all the frogs in the rain the other night, that were having a feeding frenzy of their own. So I'm sure these birds will be very happy. And you can see there are, well, maybe it's hard to see in the video, but if you look against the lighter background, you can still see them coming up out of the nest. So they basically wait for the ground, they wait for a long time in the nest with wings ready to fly out until the ground becomes moist enough to dig out of the nest, and then when the rain comes they'll dig out and then fly everywhere. So if you have your lights on and your windows open in the evening when these flying ants come out, for about an hour they'll just fly into your house, and actually quite a lot of them, as you can see. It only happens a few times a year, when right after the first rainfall, when they're able to dig their way out of the nest, and it only lasts about half an hour or an hour or so, then they tend to stop. So what we did, with this church service, we moved the people back in the church and left the lights on at the front of the church to attract the termites toward the front. So this is in the evening, when the termites have just come out of their nest. It's the first rain for a long time, and there's a lot of animals here which are really having a feast. These frogs and toads that you can see also live in the ground, and they also happen to dig their way out of the ground after the first heavy rain, when the ground becomes moist enough to dig out. And it just so happens that when they come out of hibernation, out of the ground, they have a good meal waiting for them with all these flying ants to eat. So it's really quite fascinating to see. You can't really walk without stepping on a frog, and yeah, that's really going for it. There was a Tokai Gecko as well that was really getting into it too, but they're quite shy. He ran off when I came out to take a video. So I believe these are a type of toad. They live in the ground, in holes in the ground, so you don't really see them much during the hot, dry season. But when it rains, they are quite prolific. Yeah, there's the Tokai Gecko.